like I said, you're a modest guy, at times very self-critical. And as much as you don't like to boast yourself, I do mean that when I say I find you funny. But I want to get into like you being a comedian. How did your passion for comedy first develop? And when did you decide you wanted to do stand-up, indefinitely?
It's a good question. I'd say I owe it to Humber Comedy School. I went to Humber Writing and Performance because I never really had the idea of doing stand up in my head. Like I was like, oh, I'm always writing funny ideas and, was trying to find a way to get into it, but never really knew how or what.
Right.
And then I auditioned for the program because a friend of mine told me about it. And then I just ended up going on stage for the first time because they make you, right? They make you do stand up and stand up class. So,
Right.
and the first time I went on stage was like, that fucking light bulb moment, if you will. Like I got off stage and I was like, oh, fuck, I think I found what I'm supposed to do here.
Nice.
I just kind of went all in from there and been, constant collaborating, pushing ideas out, this and that. Right. So it's been fun.
So it was almost like a calling for you, you would say.
I'd say so, yeah. Like, because you always look for something that you do that you're like, oh man, I'm actually fucking really good at this naturally, or like without too much effort or whatever. Like you find something that you feel like you're naturally good at, or like just something you feel that you're supposed to do, or whatever. And that was it for me. Like I got off stage and like I did so well, and I was like, fuck, this is great, and I had that high or whatever. I mean, my second set was like the world's worst set I've ever done.
Right.
So it was humbling right away. But no, I still was like, okay, you got to remember that feeling from the first time you did it.
Nice. That's amazing, man. And that's what distinguishes. I don't know. Like I always enjoy hearing from creatives, any sort of talented individuals, that it's not just a passion, it's a calling, right? Because that just puts it on a different level. And that's why I've seen you so dedicated to the craft, right? And it's also innate. Like again, it's not just you go on stage, you're funny, and then you come off and you're like, don't talk to me, or like you're a different character. It's just who you are, like all those Uber rides we had together, the hotel rooms. It was wild, right? To see you just like always on note, always, being a very observant and cracking jokes and really just making light of everyday situations. Were you always like that as a child?
That's what my parents say, for sure.
Yeah.
In class, that was sort of always what I was doing, was getting kicked out of class and shit like that. So for pointing things out or making jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like when a server comes to the table with your bread from your breakfast that's fucking 30 minutes after your breakfast, you're like, buddy, if we were in Vaughan, you would have been fired.
You would have been fired, bro.
You'd be working at Toys R Us, bro.
We're still waiting for that jam.
We're still waiting for the jam. That was so funny, dude.